Hello everybody, this is Jasmina, and in this video I'm going to talk about the Golden Carriage noble person. This is what it says in Chinese, it just doesn't fit in English. And this Golden Carriage nobleman star helps you create significant wealth, but it's rarely extreme wealth. So, but significant wealth means you never have to worry about money, basically. So, so this is a very good thing to have. It is a bit easier than some of the other formations to get, but there's also some, let's say, risks or downsides involved in this too. But with care and with using some little tricks, you can alleviate a lot of the problems. So this is the table for the Golden Carriage Nobleman Star. So you find your Daymaster and you see whether or not you have this as any one of your branches. Now, neither I nor my husband have this, so I mean, honestly, it doesn't look like we're born to be rich because we just don't seem to have any wealth stars. This branch that is the completion branch, I mean, this is your focus point, which is the Daymaster. That there are some who also are okay with the year stem, but it's the Daymaster that everybody agrees works. And then you look to see if you have this branch anyplace else in your chart. So this is what I call the completion branch. If that, where that occurs, whether it's in the year, the month, the day, or the hour, changes the meaning somewhat. But they are all positive for wealth, and they all seem to have some sort of issues in Grand Duke years, where there's a risk of serious injury while traveling. So, people who travel a lot maybe don't want this because there is that risk, and it comes at least once every 12 years. So that is the only real worry about this, is that the injury aspect. So again, you look for your Daymaster. You will see that the two earths, the Yang and Yin earth, are not present here. I would first look at your Daymaster. If you have an earth Daymaster, then look at your year. You can also look at your year even if you don't have the earth Daymaster, but I do believe that as a year pillar, it is not nearly as strong, or as a year stem, as the focus. It won't be nearly as strong, but it's still better than nothing. And then you will see whether or not you have any of the listed branches anywhere in your 4 pillars. Now, I actually do not have an earth Daymaster, but I don't have the right branch in my chart, in my 4 pillars. Now, the pillar can also appear in your luck pillar, but then it's just for that one 10-year luck cycle, and that usually each luck cycle only occurs for once in your life, because there are 12 possible luck cycles, and that means you have to live beyond 120 because they're each 10 years long to repeat any. So you really only have one possible in your lifetime. And again, this is the table. So find your Daymaster. And if you have a earth Daymaster, then look at your year pillar, your year stem, and see if it's one of these. And then you will need to see whether or not you have this branch somewhere. It could be in your luck pillar. I kind of hope it's not, because that you've only got that 10 years, but you still can do something with that. Hopefully it's not in the past. I have this as my Daymaster, but my snake occurred about 30 years ago. Now, that was when actually I earned the most money, though. But it wasn't a whole lot of money because I was only a postdoc. I happened to unfortunately graduate at a time that was very hard to find good jobs in physics because the Soviet Union had fallen apart and lots of famous people from former Soviet Union countries, their universities stopped paying them, so they came over here and took a lot of postdoc jobs. So, but I still had a postdoc. It just was in a different field. Now, you note which pillar completes the formation. So again, this is going to be your daymaster, or at least the first focus, and then you see where this pillar occurs. Hopefully it's not only in your luck pillar. Hopefully it's in one of your 4 pillars, because then it's permanent. Now, like as I said before, some practitioners consider the year stem as a possible focus in addition to or in replacement of the daymaster, but not every practitioner, and that means not every master, actually believes this. So I'm just warning you that it's not a guarantee. However, I would say if it is there, it probably isn't as strong as if it's the daymaster. It's kind of a secondary choice. Now, if the completion branch is in your year, so you have your day stem, that is your daymaster, and you have that completion branch in your year, you are very likely to be able to gain a high-level position either in government or in a company, not maybe the top, but a very high-level position that is paid very well. And actually, sometimes this is the best place to be. You can earn a lot, but you don't have the stress of being the top guy. Unfortunately, and this one is quite clear, there is significant danger of either road accidents or any other kind of travel accidents, because of course when the Golden Carriage was in existence, you were talking about horse-drawn carriages for the most part. And so there were no planes, but this could apply to plane or train travel. So it's any kind of travel that can be dangerous during that individual's Grand Duke year. Now, because this appears in the year, that is the completion branch and your Grand Duke year will be the same. That is, your year stem will experience the same Grand Duke year as the Grand Duke of the Golden Carriage. So now this is only true for the Grand Duke years, not the year breaker years. So there's only once every 12 years. So that's the good thing, because sometimes it's both. Now, if the travel, this is another key. If the travel is either in the Grand Duke direction or the year breaker direction during and only during Grand Duke years, the risk increases beyond just any kind of travel in a Grand Duke year. And this direction is measured from your current location that you've spent some time in. So let's look at this. So this again is the rules for the Golden Carriage, and this is the Grand Duke's direction, and this is the year breaker's direction, and they're opposite one another on the compass. And so there you can see that north, south, east, west are good directions. These are all the ordinal directions that are possibly an issue. Now let's take a real example here. Let's say your daymaster is Yang Fire, and you have a year branch of the goat. So you now qualify to have the Golden Carriage in your year. So this means that southwest 1 and northeast 1 are bad directions for you to travel in from wherever your current location is. So let's say that, and this would be like the worst case scenario, that your job is located in either Southwest 1 or Northeast 1, but I'm giving the example of Southwest 1 from your house here. So every morning you would travel from here to here. It doesn't matter if the road does this, maybe you're living in a hilly area and you have to go around mountains, whatever. Still, from the beginning destination to the final destination, you're Southwest 1. That's key. We don't care how you get there. It's the relative position. And so during a goat year, this is when it is most dangerous. And so there is a trick to dealing with this. You travel from your house to a location that is not Southwest 1 or Northeast 1. Here you're going to be traveling northwest. Totally fine. You stop here. If it's a park, get out and take a 5-minute walk. If it's a restaurant or a coffee shop, you got to get out of your car, go inside. If it's just a coffee shop, order your coffee. If it's a diner, you can go in, maybe eat breakfast there. And then after you've done that, after you've been out of the car for a few minutes, you can get back in, and now you're traveling. This is either South 1 or maybe Southeast 3, but it looks like South 1 to me. So now you're traveling northwest, and then you're traveling south. Neither of them are this. That's the trick. But the trick is here, when you're at this intermediate thing, you need to get out of your car, at least for a few minutes, so that you break the position of where you're located, so that you're not traveling in a bad direction. And you can use this when you're flying. Usually you're talking from airport to airport, but city to city is usually just as good. And so maybe you find a route that takes you through a different city that is maybe a little bit out of your way, may cost you a little bit more time, but you travel in good directions rather than in your most dangerous direction. Now, we can also have the completion branch in your month, and this is generally seems to be a little better. You tend to still have a very high-paying career, whatever it is, but you also tend to have a good marriage, which is not a guarantee if it's in your year. It's not necessarily that you're going to have a bad marriage, but there's not such a guarantee for a good marriage. And it's also very, very possible that that marriage will help your career. Whether you realize it or not at the time doesn't seem to matter. It just may turn out to be good. Now, again, that same danger exists during Grand Duke years, and you use that same trick by going to an intermediate place. What is less clear, and I am a little worried about this. I am a little concerned I may not be quite understanding what they're saying, because this is from the Chinese language websites, and my husband isn't enough into any of the Chinese metaphysics to be able to interpret what they mean. But he translates it for me, and it's still not 100% clear. But I'm not 100% certain if they mean the Grand Duke of the completion branch or the Grand Duke of the person who has this in their month pillar. Now, if you're over 25 or even 24 years old, you will have gone through all of the Grand Duke years possible. If you've had any accidents, even if it was your parents driving, and you were the one who was most seriously injured, look at that year. Is it the Grand Duke of the completion branch, or is it the Grand Duke of your same animal? In your year, of course. That's how the Grand Duke is defined. So that may help clear this up. And But I think, and they're pretty clear, it's only 1 year out of 12 you have to worry about. I'm just not 100% sure of which of those it is. Now, if the completion branch is in your day, this is quite good. It tends to lead a happy and wealthy life with a loving marriage. I mean, it's hard to get better than that, except having really good health. That's the only way it could be better. And I don't think doesn't say it'll give you bad health. It's just your health will be whatever it is. Now, again, those same dangers exist during the Grand Duke years. And again, I'm not 100% certain if they're talking about the completion branch or the Grand Duke of you as an individual. I hope somebody can help answer this question. And if the completion branch is in the hour, this is also quite good because you tend to have an easiest of all the four. You tend to have the easiest route to being wealthy and having a good high position. And this just is easier than the others. You also tend to have a good marriage too. That doesn't seem to be any real problem here. But again, the same warnings about injuries. Definitely there'll be 1 year that has much higher risk for injury, especially when you're traveling. Again, I'm just not 100% sure if it's the Grand Duke of the completion branch or the Grand Duke of you as an individual. So I'm sorry, but this just isn't made clear, even in the Chinese literature. And it's quite hard for me to ask these people because most of the time they don't respond. They don't even have a comment place. They just give out the information, which is better than it might otherwise be. Now, the Golden Carriage Formation can also exist in your Wei Dou Shu chart. And I think it is independent of whether or not it appears in your BaZi chart. I think it could appear in one or the other, perhaps in both, but I don't know enough about the Wei Dou Shu to be sure about this. The rules are different and the interpretation is different whether it appears in your Wei Dou Shu chart or your BaZi chart. But I don't know the rules yet because I don't know enough about Wei Dou Shu. But I am and have been and will repeat it here. I am looking for some donations so that I can take a Wei Dou Shu class. I will never do BaZi or Wei Dou Shu as part of my business. What I'm doing here is learning and telling you what it means. And of course, even if I take a class, I always confirm this with other Chinese language websites because there is a consensus when you look at enough of them that this information is available in Chinese for free. It's just that you have to have someone who can read Chinese because the Google Translate isn't good enough yet. It is good in most cases, but it's not 100%. And so this really helps to have a husband whose first language is Chinese because he's my free source. Now, if everyone who has subscribed to my channel donated a single one-time donation of $1.50, I could take the class. It's up to you. Now, there are people who have given much more than that, and I'm very grateful to them. But the Wei Dou Shu classes as a group are the most expensive, simply because there's not a lot of people doing it, so they can ask for more money. So now, this is not the most expensive class out there, but it is a very comprehensive class, and it's online so that I can take it from my house and don't have to travel, which is quite expensive. So, I know what class I want to take. It's just, hopefully, I will finally have enough money to do so. My business doesn't make much money. I haven't paid myself a penny yet because I'm just trying to keep above water. I'm doing this for fun, honestly. I'm old enough to retire. I'm 65 years old. I don't have to work, but I enjoy this. And this is why I'm doing it. And this is why I'm willing to learn for you guys and tell you this information. But it's up to you. It's all up to you whether or not I'll be able to take this class. So that's it. If you have questions, you're free to either email me, especially if it's something you don't want to share with the world, or you can leave a comment if you're okay with sharing it with the world. So but that concludes this one. And again, I really like to thank you guys for watching. It it keeps me motivated to do more videos. Thanks again.